Hi scrapbookers, it's Katie Scott and I got a silhouette cameo for Christmas and I have successfully cut something. So I cut something else first and I'll just show you. It was so pathetic. It was a banner and this is what just like the little things are there, but I think the paper was too thin and it just looks like, oh, junk. I haven't thrown it away yet, but it kind of feels like it's bound for the trash can. Also, the negative space of it didn't really work because the paper ripped when I pulled it up. So I bought the Silhouette Cameo bundle, but it did not come with a spatula. It came with like a rhinestone setting tool, so I was a little bit like, oh, I thought it was going to have the spatula. So I got out of my kitchen just a tiny little IKEA knife that the kids like to use, and like a cheese spreader type of thing. And then I also got from my kitchen, I don't know what you call this, it's called a chef mate. And I thought that might help pull things up a little bit better. So this is the cut file. It's a triangles background, and it's like kind of looks like Epcot, you know, what my kids call God's golf ball. So it's like there's hexagon shapes made out of triangles. So let's see if we can just pull it up and I'll show you. So I guess there's going to be a frame that comes off the whole page. So this part of it's going to come off. And what I found with the other sheet of paper is that it was really bending quite a bit. So my guess is the thicker the paper, the better. Although that's just a guess. I haven't gone through all of the silhouette tutorials and everything else. But I will say they seem a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot out there, and so that's good, but it's also like, oh boy, there's a lot of information. So here's the frame of the whole page. So perhaps I will use that in another project. It almost looks like a Polaroid, but it almost seems like, I don't know if I should bother to try to save that or not. And then here's that shape. And the other problem that I had with my silhouette is it's supposed to cut like right along this line, and if you can see, like on the very first try, I don't think you can see it. Yep, you can. On the very first try, we cut the mat, which is very frustrating. I don't think you can see. Anyways, I cut the plastic, and the difference, the note there, the mistake that I made was we did load media, and you need to do load cutting mat if you're if you've got a silhouette cutting mat. So here I am just trying to pull this up, and it does seem like, I guess it needs to be sticky, and you want it to be sticky. There's a stickiness issue. Like apparently at some point this stuff becomes not so sticky, and then you want it to be sticky again, or the more dust that you get on it, or the more that you cut with it or you handle it, the less sticky it's going to be. So it starts out being quite sticky, and therefore kind of difficult to get things off of, which is why I imagine you need the spatula. And the other thing that I've noticed is that when I pull it up, whatever it is curling, so I'm having to put that kind of down down on something. And what I thought I would do with this negative space is put some pattern paper behind some of the triangles. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get that to work, but we will see. I will show you. I'll show you my process. So what I think I'm going to do to flatten this out is this is just like a cutting mat that I got at Tuesday Morning, which is a discount store. So I'm just putting that under because this has a little bit of weight to it, so it should hold those down. And now I have all of these triangles, and I'm wondering what's going to be the, because there's a lot of triangles there, so what's going to be the best way to get them up? And okay, my fingernail works. Let's just see how that goes. And this paper does not seem to be bending as much as the thinner paper that I used earlier today, although it seems like this is going to take kind of a while to get off the page. I don't know if using this thing is going to help. Maybe a little. Alright, well, I'm going to pause and then I'll come back because I usually do my videos in real time, but it seems like it's going to be quite time consuming to get all these little pieces off the paper. But they're cute! And, you know, unless you have an equilateral triangle punch, it's hard to accomplish the triangles. So I'm happy that I have the triangles because I have like some ideas about what I want to do with them, but getting all of the little bits off of your silhouette cutting mat is kind of annoying. And so I almost think like when you make a decision about what you're going to be cutting, you almost have to like go, okay, are all those little holes worth it? I don't know. So I'm just beginning with the silhouette. I've had manual die cutters in the past. I started with the, you know, the Sizzix, the original Sizzix, the red one, and then I had the Revolution, which broke. That was I don't remember who made that. I had Quick Cuts, I think. Is that a thing? Yes. And then now I have the Big Shot, which is also by Sizzix. And I had the Cricut, and I sold that earlier this year. I never really bonded with that. But the difference between, so my husband was like, well, what's the difference between this and the Cricut? Because this seems an awful lot like the Cricut. And it really does seem an awful lot like the Cricut, but it doesn't seem a lot like the Cricut in that you can download all sorts of things from the internet. And what I haven't figured out yet is how to do fonts, how to do titles and stuff like that. So there's a huge learning curve. Okay, this feels a little tedious, I must say, but there you go. I wish this could just like, it would be really cool if this was a magnet somehow, and then you could go a magnet for paper, and then you could just go release and it would all release. Someone should invent that. But until then, I'm going to be peeling these little bits off of my page, and then I will be back with a layout, hopefully. Or maybe I'll just put these to the side and do it a little bit later, and I'll just use the other part. That's what I'll do. I always, there's a way that in YouTube you can merge videos, but it takes a little longer to do the edits, and I prefer to not have to edit the videos. So let's just see how that negative space one. Okay, so it's still pretty curly, but maybe if I used it this way. And then one thought that I had was, I made this earlier with, this was with the Faber-Castell gelatos or gel sticks, which I'm not sure are the same thing or not. And this side was with watercolor pencils. And I thought it might be fun to overlay this, right? I don't know. Does that look cute? I wish it's actually still like kind of sticky on the one side. It's almost sticky enough to just leave like that. And then I thought what might be fun is to just use some, like to somehow back just some of these. And I could use the little triangles as the shape, you know what I mean? So here's so that some of the backs of the triangles would be a little bit different. So if I just use the little triangle as my model and cut slightly above it, let's just try this. And then I'll put the tape on it on the back. So the way that I make my videos is that you're seeing my process as I'm doing it. I don't plan it out in advance, which maybe would seem like a good idea, but I actually like to play and see what happens, and to let you join in that little journey with me, because I just think it's interesting to do it that way. So I'm kind of try to do like tone on tone, so I'm not messing with that background too much, but so it's just a little bit interesting. So I have this whole little tray. It's not very deep, but it's just a tray of random kind of scraps. It's some kind of a serving tray. But let me just see if I can use some of the scraps that I have handy to put behind. So it's very like, you'd almost have to like really look to see. I'm trying to put the color, so it's like a tone on tone type of thing. Let me keep finding. All right, I have some of this. I think that might work on top. We'll see. And I'm really just rifling through my little scrap pile here, and just whatever I can find that I think will work a little bit. That's what I'm going for. So there's a yellow flower. Let's see if we can get that behind some of that yellow. And I've seen some, you see online like different scrapbookers doing different things, and people have done really interesting things with the silhouettes. And I really like when there's like circles or something where they're filling in the blanks. I like this triangles, but I almost think I should have like made the triangles bigger, because these it seems like if I were to fill them in, it would be a lot. So I'm not going to totally fill it in. What I think maybe I'll do is do the, should have done it this way, but I did it this way. So the triangles that I fill in will kind of be randomly going in a diagonal, I think. Here's another scrap with that yellow color. So I'm just going to keep using that little negative space as my template. And then what I'm thinking is, because there's this white line down the middle of the layout, it would be kind of good to just do it right here. So it's not a lot. There's 4 down, and it's kind of coming up. So let's see what else. And I don't have a lot of purple to choose from. Let us see. I might overrun this pile over here. Scrapbookers can be pilers. I can be a piler. but it's really a matter of containing your piles. Okay, I think that I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna do too many of those. All right. I'm not real happy with that paper as it keeps bending up, so I want to just tack that down. I'm using this ThermoWeb sticky dots. Just going to use that on the corner. I don't think I need to really do the whole layout or the whole page, but you can just tuck it in, and then the little dots are just going to go where your image is. Ugh, this is just the way that it keeps coming up is kind of bugging me. I like to put scrapbook layouts together fast, and I've been I used to scrapbook standing up, and now I've been scrapbooking sitting down, and I think it's slowing me down. Like I think I'm going slower, and that's kind of bugging me too. So I have a few little not totally happy with my process issues right now, but I had some time today, and a lot of times in December I don't do any scrapbooking at all. This year I did December daily, and then did a couple of other things that I don't think I put out there yet. And I'm someone who likes to do a whole lot of layouts, and then I'll take a break from that. And there is a podcast called The Accidental Creative, and the author of that, or the speaker, is named Todd Henry. And one of the things he talked about in one of the podcasts that I thought was so interesting, and I was like, oh, that's me, is how farmers have seasons. And so with creativity, you also have these seasons of, when you're doing a lot and you're feeling so creative, and then you have to rest, and you have to let the ground rest, in farming. And so I think sometimes it is useful to stop scrapbooking for a little while. But I didn't do that this month. So when you're powering through, sometimes it's fun to just do a little different, some things that are different from your normal style. So this is pretty different from my normal style because, number one, I haven't had this tool before. But anyways, that's a long way of me saying I'm really trying to get the mojo going, and it's sort of there, but it's not completely there. Now, because I think this really looks like Epcot, and I know that I have a photo of me at Epcot in this little drawer that I had in my Tinker desk, which I'm using for my scrapbooking desk, and I love this desk. But I love the desk, but I haven't, okay, here it is. I haven't really fallen in love with my new scrapbooking space yet. So there's God's golf ball, and there's me doing my crazy pose. So, I almost want to just put it right in the middle. I know that's like a no-no in design, isn't it? But I am going to be part of Get It Scrapped's Masterful Scrapbook Design class in January 2014. And we are going to be breaking scrapbook design rules. And so one of the rules is, you shouldn't put things dead center. So I'm gonna do that. Just because you don't want to put things all centered because they feel too formal, but I want to say this does not feel formal, does it? So there's something that says awesome, where I like that. I might do it, so I could either go this way or, alright, I think I'm going to go this way because I've got that white line going down the middle, so I'm going to kind of fill it up, or try to. And so I don't think it was the best day ever. It was a pretty good day. Can't be calling everything the best day, right? So I kind of want something above and below. I do have a sticker sheet that I pulled for this. I don't think that really relates in any way, except the only thing that really kind of does relate is they've got these triangle shapes in this sticker, and that might be kind of cute, like on, I don't know. I don't really like that there. Oh, I shouldn't have put it there. The glitter girl never does that, does she? Or she does sometimes. I'm just joking. But I'm not the most flawless scrapbooker. I go about this with I'm just seeing what happens, kind of a technique, and sometimes what I do doesn't really work all that well, so that is part of my process. So here's, I don't know, I kind of, like, it doesn't look good, but it kind of does. The reason I like it is that it ties in, like, the God's golf ball is a circle, and but it's made up of those triangles, so we're kind of tying both of those things in, and it covers up that white spot that I didn't want to have. So there is something that says awesome, and then let's see if there's any here. Oh, I like this. Go. I can use. So we live really close to Disney World, but we don't go as often as we did when the kids were little. And part of it is, it's kind of expensive. Like, the last time we went, I thought there was a after 4 or after 2 o'clock pass for Epcot, and it wasn't, like, it was just seemed like if we got the year passes for all my 2 kids and me, it was going to be like, I don't know, like $600 or some crazy thing. I was just like, we're not doing it. It's like such a mean mom, because we had gotten all the way over there, and we do have the year passes for Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon, but they're like in comparison, like, so, like, I could get, I don't know how much it costs, but it's substantially less. I do know that. Okay, here's, I just feel like I need a little border on that. Anyways, we haven't been to Epcot in kind of a while. When we go, we really love, in the land, they have a ride called Soarin', and I guess that's like the same as something called California Adventure in Disneyland. And I like to go around and look at all the different countries and pavilions, but honestly, like, My kids liked that a little bit more when they were smaller, and I was pushing them around in the strollers, and now not so much. Like, I like this. What a wonderful world, because it's like about, Epcot is about the whole world. This is crepe paper. I'm just going to cut this whole strip. See what that looks like. So I'm trying to use up, or use what I have, instead of buying more stuff. Yeah. See, darling, lovely, beautiful, happy, precious, oh happy day. Okay. We'll do 2 of these strips. And a couple things I know I need to do is I need to print some photos. It's always good to have like current photos. I need to, with my existing photos that are printed already, kind of go through those to see what I've scrapped already and what I still want to do. And then this is just another page where there's not a lot of journaling, and sometimes I'm usually a scrapbooker who is all about, you know, telling the story, or telling at least some of the story, saying something on the page, and I'm usually not just doing a page that is all about the photo with no journaling, but I kind of don't mind this because this will go in an album that we have that is all about Epcot and Disney World. And let's just see. I don't know where to put this heart, but I really feel like it belongs on the page. But I don't think every single layout in your whole, your whole album, all of your albums, has to be, not every page has to have like all this journaling. Sometimes it can be just like a filler page, and sometimes it's fun to just put one photo on a page like that, whereas like the opposite page, if I really wanted to tell a story, what I might do instead of putting it right on the page, in this case, is I could just type, I could go to the, Debbie Hodge has something called Story Swoop. So I could go into Story Swoop and create a story for this picture. And then, okay, this is my crazy, this is my crazy talking. What I want to do is like cut out the middle of that. I don't know why, I need to just stop with that. But I think what I will do is put my picture on some foam dots just to give it a little bit dimension. I'm not going to cut the middle. So that's the other reason I think buying scrapbook supplies at a discount is a good idea, because when you do that, then you're a little bit less precious with your stuff, and you're more likely to use it or not try to hoard it. Because I think a lot of times we think like, oh, it's so beautiful, I don't want to wreck it, or I don't want to use it up and then not have it. And I'm probably using too much of this 3M tape, but oh well. Anyways, if you buy your scrapbooking supplies at a discount, you're kind of more likely to use them. And then with this silhouette, you know, once you've made the purchase, then you really need to just keep using it to get your money out of it. Oh, there we go. So that's my is to make it look like that. And then, here we go. So I'm just going to start sticking things down. Oh, I guess I should have stuck this one down first. But I'll tell you, I don't always feel inspired to scrapbook. Like, I'm not feeling especially inspired to scrapbook today, but I had a little extra time, and I have the new toys, so I did want to kind of use it, you know, try out the silhouette and do something with it. So this is my something, and then I might just, I almost want to, no, I'll put that one under. But sometimes I think it's good to do the creative exercise of going forward even though you're not feeling it. You know, sometimes you'll feel very inspired and you'll have all sorts of things that you want to do and you'll go really, really fast. And then other times maybe you're not feeling it so much. And that's a good time to just maybe try a little something different. Or just like let something go, like telling the story on this page is what I'm letting go of. So go. But I'm not going to force myself to do every single thing. And I also think like this page almost does not need any kind of title. I do think I will do that little exercise of the story swoop with this page, because you know I actually have like kind of a lot to say about Disney World. It's really why I live in Florida, why I met, you know, wouldn't have met my husband if I didn't live here. Like there's a whole lot of like I could go on a very long sentimental tangent about Florida and what made me come here, and there's just, and I really should go to Disney World more often because that's really why I came. And now I'm just like, oh, please get me back to the cold weather. I just want to go skiing. So the grass is always greener, right? There's a good title. There's probably my story swoop. But I will come back to that, and I will probably post that part on my blog. So I'm not going to worry about telling the story on this page because I think I'm going to tell it just on an 8.5 by 11 regular piece of paper. So there you go, my first page using my silhouette Cameo. Woohoo! Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. I'm Katie Scott.